live stream. It's not gonna be up there. We're not gonna have like our faces will be there in the recording, but they're not gonna be on the screen.
Motion to approve the meeting
Okay,
minutes.
wait a second. We just have meeting,
Oh.
since we're officially starting,
Okay.
you just re-announce to start the meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:10.
Second.
Perfect. Yeah, we're gonna go over the meeting minutes of August 6th. And I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of August 6th.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. On to today.
So we have, we talked about the last meeting was the cemetery ordinance is complete. We'll call it, the next round of public hearings, I should say public hearing. As appropriate, the sewer ordinance is complete, which can also go to a public hearing. As appropriate. That also needs to go. In the cluster housing ordinance, we've completed our piece. I just need to get the edits to you, and then we'll send it to the select board for legal review.
Okay.
So I got 6 other things done this week. I got those 2 things. The comprehensive plan, we're pretty well done with the inventory piece. So I was hoping that maybe tonight we could spend a little bit of time on the recommendations section. Which neither of you were involved in the original kind of community meetings that we had.
No.
But there are the sections, right? We have population of people. Start off on the board here, housing, natural resources, fiscal responsibility, agriculture, transportation, public service. There might be one more. The general consensus of the people who showed up at that meeting, and that was a very interesting cross-section of people at these public hearings. And they were run with more of a ideation, brainstorming kind of, where are we now? And what do you want to keep from where we are now? Where do you think is going to be affecting us for the future? Where do you think we want to go in the future? The key takeaways, and I think Robin, we were at some of those, but not all of those. We wanted to continue to support the natural resources that we have in town, whether it's parks and trails, the river, the lake, right? There's a lot of benefit to the town from these natural resources. We wanted to figure out ways to both promote the safe use of them and the valuing of them. So that was one, right? In transportation, we had talked about how many people are using the roads, what's available for there is no really public transportation other than some of the drive services that are available for our seniors. We talked about the blinking light and the accident rate of the blinking light. There's lots of discussion, there's lots in that inventory chapter about how many miles of roads we have and all that kind of stuff. There wasn't a super lot other than do we want to think about some kind of public transportation?
I thought there was a public transportation that comes up and just takes them to Auburn.
Doesn't necessarily stop in Canton, I don't think.
Well, I thought that.
Well, we can go back to that transportation section, but we know, the question was, do we want to promote more?
Okay.
Public services, we had talked about everything from,
Would you have a pen? A chance?
I do.
Who pays for that stuff? The public transportation.
Some of those are paid for in the town, and we have the updated budget.
Okay.
Some of them are paid through, just community services.
Yeah.
Like, Western Maine Transportation Authority, I think, asks every town in this district for some support, financial support.
Okay.
Other ride services that charge per ride for people. I think the public transportation, like there was a bus from Rumford to Auburn at one point. I don't know where it runs or how it stops or anything about that. The question was, I think that we need to kind of turn, so we spent a lot of time inventorying this history. Here's what we had. The question is, we have to put forth recommendations and put a stake in the ground on. So given the vision that the people brought up for the town that said they want to keep a small town atmosphere, they liked the small town with a big heart. They liked the kind of village idea. They want to keep that as much as possible. They also mentioned knowing that they wanted to kind of clean up the visual appearance of the town, but keep it a small town. There was discussion around, the population is exceeded where it was before the buyout. And if we expect continued growth, how do you manage for that? We had the agriculture inventory that said how much we value our, agricultural services within the town. We'd like to continue to promote that and support that. But are there specific actions in any of these categories that we want to put into the comp plan as a recommendation? So this is not the definitive piece, but it's certainly putting a stake in the ground. That will then go to public hearing. We talked about having another public kind of brainstorming session on these actions, but at least getting something started on these.
Going back to the transportation, it actually looks like they've got something that comes out of Canton Variety.
Mhm.
That green line
Mhm.
connector.
It's what it looks like it is. Green line connector. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stops a day to Canton Variety.
I don't know how many, but I know that,
Yeah,
cause they had shut it down for a very short period of time, but it's back up and going again. I mean, I see them on the road, so it's something going.
And where does it originate?
I think they're out of Rumford, I think.
I think so. But they go,
They go quite a ways.
yeah, they go all the way to Sugarloaf to Brunswick.
So if we look at senior transportation, the green line, safety was a topic, and road maintenance were all parts of transportation. There wasn't huge gaps that were brought up, like, hey, we're missing this, we're missing this, we're missing this. But if we had anything we wanted to put in as a starting spot, this would be a good time to at least start putting some kind of stakes in the ground.
Okay.
And this is a little bit of brainstorming, right? Because we know we're gonna have a public brainstorming, but this is kind of giving them some seeds, like, and these are more what ifs. So what if? What if you could do something,
They do
Sure.
rides in and out of Region 9. It's
improve,
confusing. They do rides in and out of Region 9.
this is the green line?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I said, I didn't know that there was that much of it.
What is it?
So I'm gonna suggest that we publicize
The green line.
the public transportation options for
Yeah.
citizens in a bigger way. That would be an action step. Based on everybody's like, we don't even know this exists. It's really just make visible.
Is there a cost to this?
Yes.
Like to the people who are riding it? Or is it free?
I think there's a cost, but I think it's nominal. And I don't know whether it's like a season cost or if it's a ride.
No, Brad talked about taking no time just
Oh, no.
to see.
We could do a field trip.
Yeah, ride it and see what happens.
Well, so you could take a ride to Sugarloaf.
We should, Tom's got that part.
We'll do that in the winter time,
Well, I'm sure we have.
You're right
a parking
about that.
situation, wouldn't it?
right?
There, you could put your kids on there and let them go.
I remember my mother used to be a big fan of that song about the guy in Boston who got on the subway line, they raised the rates while he was on the line and he couldn't pay, so he just. There's a whole line about he'll never return, because his fate is still unlearned, because they raised the rates. It was a whole, it was quite a long song, but it was really digging at the public transportation costs in Boston was the point. But she thought that was very funny, so. He'll ride forever through the streets of Boston. He's the man who never returned. That's awesome.
If it's Boston traffic, I can see
So,
that.
other than publicizing or making visible public transportation options,
Ooh.
what else? You think about? you're gonna add to that, make visible, road repair priorities, and I know we have them. They're just not always easy to see. Anything else? This is not like a computer thing necessarily, right? It's like, if you think about the town, and we've got a bunch of different sections here. That was just the first one we started to do. We can always come back and add to that. Let's talk about natural resources for a minute.
So that's what I was like, do you have it in the big print? Because maybe even step further back.
Move over here, something.
Yeah, we can bring this out.
No, it's just-
We can make them bigger.
That's good. Yeah, I can see it, that's.
You can sit closer too.
He told me to step back further.
Are you trying to avoid that draft?
That way I can see that and.
So this is the comprehensive plan, right?
Right, the comprehensive plan has all these chapters, and the chapters are considered the inventory, right? So like, where are we today?
Yeah.
Right, and that's been worked on, started before COVID, so that's been like
Yeah.
5 or 6 years. And there's been a lot of turnover in that group. But that is essentially done. There's certainly some fine tuning there, but assuming that that's basically done.
Okay.
The next step is to start to posit some actions that the towns could be taking over the next 10 years. In the comp plan, we had some things that basically said, hey, let's think about blah, 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 blah. These are not binding, of course, these are not anything, and it's not even final, but it's just putting some stakes in the ground to expand people's thinking.
The wish list.
What could be done potentially,
Yes.
right? Because the first reaction of people is like, oh, any of these actions are gonna cost money, we don't have time, we don't have people, we can't do them, right? That's the first reaction.
Yeah.
Can't do anything. So the idea of the plan is to put together a 10-year kind of vision that says, here's the things we should certainly look at and consider.
And a lot of grants, if you don't have your comprehensive plan up to date, they don't apply. So,
Right. So we know the comp plan is a requirement of a lot of grant applications, like community development block grants.
Yeah.
Some other stuff. Things that have already been raised up, for example. Under transportation, well, actually that's something else. So natural resources, we talked about expanding, promoting. Trail system.
Like the Whitney Brook Trail.
Yep. Are there other trails? Or I mean, could there be other pieces of land that you could put trails on? How might you do that? So let me go back. Natural resources, the key takeaways, I think, oops. So bad at typing today. Just make people. So we talked about, we have the river, we have the lake. We have trails. We have a lot of woodlands.
you got
Weedlands.
weedlands.
Well,
Yeah.
that could be.
Right now, we don't have a lot of that, I'm okay.
We have wildlife too. Right, so that's kind of what we have. And the other discussion, I think, in the plan was talking about if people use it, they respect it. Right, they value it. If you're not outside, if you're not an outdoorsy person and you don't even know what we have as a resource, you don't value it. People don't really care. They respect it more, they value it. We also had, we have a lot of habitats. And we have some unique plants. So that's kind of the principles under that whole chapter was basically, how do we get more people to utilize the natural resources in a safe way so that they begin to respect it and value it more. So one is certainly expanding, promoting the trail system. Other ideas around natural resources.
You also have, rivers, yeah, okay, got that. River paddle with the naturalists
Yep, they do the trek to the sea every so often. Then you start with the Androscoggin River at its origins in New Hampshire and you go all the way to the ocean. And they do sections of it. And we've been on, I mean, Canton is on one section of that. They do different things every year with that, or every so many years. I'm not sure. I've not seen it advertised for a while, but it probably is still going on. We went years ago with a guy who came down who talked to you all about the natural plants that were growing along the sides of the river and what they were and how the Native Americans used it and what's, you know, good to eat, what's poisonous, blah, blah, blah. It was just like an educational day on the river, but it was nice. It was useful, got more people involved. There was quite a few people that came out for
If
that.
you get someone in to do talks on the native plants and so on and so forth, and their uses, then. You got a red line under.
Yeah, I know, but I'll get there, You don't need to fix everyone, I'll get there. We could engage Arthur, what's his last name?
Oh my God, Hayes.
Hayes, thank you. And he would come in
It's
and,
like,
Is he the one who lives up on the natural guy?
yeah,
He's looking at this.
I saw their daughter the other day at the dump, I ran into them at the dump.
Carol?
Yeah.
She's what, 6 now, 5, 6?
She's got.
Beautiful, beautiful girl.
Is she?
Yeah.
I haven't seen her for a couple of months.
You could also involve the Androscoggin River Land Trust. Yeah,
What is the name?
they do, they own that island that's out in the middle of
Stevens.
Stevens Island in the river, and they do all kinds.
What island?
Stevens Island is in the middle of the.
Oh, no, Canton Point, boat launch, between Canton Point, boat launch, and Meadowview.
What are you trying to think of?
Do we do anything with inlet woods and trails?
Not really.
And the only reason why I brought that up is they do a lot of the trail networks for hiking and mountain biking.
Are they a state organization or are they a private organization?
I'm trying to remember.
Because inland fish and waterways is a different thing than, I know I interviewed somebody last year. I drove quite a ways up to northern Maine where they were mountain biking to get this interview. It's an interesting trail system they had going. Right?
But they're primarily Western Maine. They're out of Bethel.
Do you remember what was their name again?
Inland woods and trails.
Is there some way you could tie in Region 9 outdoor skills program somehow?
That's a good idea.
Mhm, absolutely. Mhm.
So right now they're comprised of the Bethel Community Forest, the Bingham Forest, Bethel Village Trails. The Pennacook area trails, which are behind Mountain Valley High School,
Mhm.
and then Bacon Hill and Kendall Brook Forest. And they usually work through like land trusts, so. There's another one, out of Fayette, I think it's Kennebec Valley Trails or something like that, and they just deal with local landowners to come up with ways to basically not use the land for motorized stuff,
Right,
but allow people to hike and bike it. And it's all single track stuff.
Hill across my house, we great across the other ski line.
Right,
You want to work, something.
yeah.
Okay. These are all good starts. Since we have agriculture here, we can talk about agriculture. In the plan, we have the inventory that Brad was working on, which was quite nice, that had, you know, kind of our history. The inventory. Either agricultural is a key part of the economics of the town. And a key part of the culture of the town. What else could we do as a starting point? To
Yeah, make it rain.
Make it rain would be good, huh? It's just, the front of my mom's house was really.
Mhm.
I was in somebody's, it was really. Yeah.
Could incentivize small farms to move to town. Create some kind of farmer's market.
I mean,
I know.
That would be kind of nice.
Mhm.
do it at Heritage Park.
Well, I was just, I mean, that's about the only place you put it, and unless you use the ball, but not so introducing in some of it.
Yeah.
Incentivize small farms to move to town. How?
Well, we're not working on the cows yet. but there
Okay.
are ways to do that.
Yeah.
Okay,
There may be incentives there.
You have several people here that are, you know, growing their own stuff that could do a farmer's market.
Mhm.
Yeah, weekly. There's several people that do that.
Yeah.
I think that's really terrific. Do the, you know. You could probably do it right there at the boat launch. Yeah. That's all, it's a parking lot.
Yeah, this is a good, safer.
Yeah, on the field there.
We absolutely could. I know we're working with a lady to do a potential like brainstorming on how you might use the 80 acres of land that we have down on 108.
Mhm.
I said that could be a key part of that. You've got minute stalls set up.
Mhm.
I should find a picture. There's a great farmer's market near where I grew up in Michigan. It started out as a bunch of like stalls and then they got a cover over it. Right?
Yeah.
Then they got walls and they got electricity, then they got refrigeration, and it became quite a complex farmer's market. And people still, some people have been there for 40 years.
40 years.
Other people come and go, right? And there is still some outdoor sections and indoor sections, but the last time I was in Michigan, I went there and it was like, this is my childhood. That was every Saturday morning.
Yeah.
You went there. I bought a huge, like your arm's length thing of Brussels sprouts, you know, the huge, with all that, they're all still on the thing.
Oh, that's,
It was so cool.
see, in California, they call them, swap meets.
Yes.
You know, things with some farmers markets, but then it ends up being everything.
Yeah.
You know.
You guys are welcome to contribute to the conversation.
Some kind of.
We were just
like an
talking about
educational
farmers.
program for the.
One of the
county.
markets they started out as, you know, an actual farm stand, and
Right.
What was this?
I went to one last week, actually, when I went to Andover, Mass, to pick up book two.
Pick up what?
It, Town of Canton book two, it's our second book of vital records.
Oh.
It was in, I wanna say it was in Lowell, and it was like Trader Joe's on steroids. I mean, it was huge.
Yeah.
They have one at the city park where, like I said, Carol would have baked goods. I might, one lady
Yes.
does biscuits and gravy at breakfast. And then there's veggies and there's soap and there's honey and there's. So do we still have an action plan?
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
For H.
We do. I think, I don't know if Natalie is still running it or not. Is Natalie still doing the 4-H?
No,
She's not, so we don't.
We don't have one in town right now. I don't know what the next one is. There had been one in Peru for that, but I don't know if that's even still going.
when you say that, I'm kind of down to this, but you have to have one person to run it
Yeah,
in town. Yes.
Yeah.
And, okay, what does that entail?
You have to get a whole, you go through the Oxford County Extension,
cooperative extension.
and they set it up, because I know when Natalie. She
Okay.
wanted the Canton busy worker name back. Because somebody else had had it and had to go through some steps to organize it and all that. But over at the extension office over in South Paris is where you go through.
So this is what this one looks like now.
Huh?
This is what this one looks like now.
That's similar to,
Yeah.
It wasn't that, I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's very similar.
when I was a kid, it wasn't that, I think they just built the walls on there.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
That's the outside portion right now, and then within that building. There's more stalls inside there that have the electricity and ovens that heat, because you can get fresh food, you can get all kinds of stuff. And so it's a permanent fixture now in that location, it isn't like
Yeah.
it drifts around, but.
Wilson.
Now, I'm looking here too, like look at this, they run a moonlight market. Certain days and times from 4:30 to 9 PM, so instead of being like, and like Gleaner's food distribution. Which Sarah would be really thrilled if you could come and glean. Look, you could do morning yoga with the small goats, yay. Anyway, so just, the idea of what could be, I think could be really interesting. I'm just trying to see if there's any other interesting pictures. I forget when that actually started and what you have to do to get there, but anyway, it's, quite. If you plan ahead for space and structure, even if it starts out small, but you plan for the big, you could do that, something like that. All right. I mean, I don't know if Canton has enough farms to do, certainly Cone Acres has their farm tour, you could potentially do an annual or every other year. Farm tour.
I have tried for years to get all of us on board with a farm table dinner,
Oh, that would be awesome.
wouldn't it?
That would
I
totally
can't
work.
convince the other guys. Between the three of us, we've got enough that
Yeah.
we could do it easily.
There, I don't remember the name of the place, but there's a place locally that does that you have to get reservations for.
Yeah.
A year or two ahead, it's
Oh, wow.
not New Orleans,
Oh,
a year or two ahead.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a lottery,
Oh, the Lost Kitchen,
Lost Kitchen.
I sent my
yes.
postcards in
I think it's that.
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
But it's
every year I
separate
send my
farms,
postcards.
set up.
Raised
that's
Tone.
headline, sorry.
That's
Hope so. 'cause I
That's
can't
a
even-
tow truck,
Yeah, big tow truck.
Oh,
taking that.
cause I come around this morning to park like this.
I don't know if we need to move in, there's a
Do we need to move?
trailer truck that's damaged over here.
Yeah, I was just gonna see if I was on the way and not the.
What do you say?
I don't think he needs us to move,
Does it?
I don't think so.
Say that's not a thing, so.
No, that's an expensive job.
I would not want to have to pay that bill.
No,
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Okay. So these don't have, I mean, this is not anywhere near an exhaustive list, right? We'll have a public brainstorming to add to these lists, and the select board will review it as well. All before it gets kind of documented, then eventually has to go to a town vote, but I feel like good to have some things started. Yeah, housing, we talked about, the lack of affordability. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we talked in there about, and also because housing and people are kind of connected. And the houses that we have going in are lovely, very nice houses, but they're pretty high end. And if you look at the average income of people in the town, there's not necessarily
People are coming in and
the
building.
gap.
Yeah.
Especially for like rentals is getting bigger. Um. What, Robin?
We were just talking about a couple that were
Just
currently on the market.
how much a month it would be. You need to make sure you're sitting down is all I got to
What are
say.
you talking about?
Houses that have just gone on the market in Canton,
Mhm.
how much the monthly house payment is forecast to be.
It's a big praying, you know.
It depends on how much you put down. But
Well,
Sure, yeah,
but. Yeah,
they're not gonna be for local people, I can tell you that.
right.
yeah. Beautiful houses.
Well, I mean, I counted, I think 6 or 7 have gone on Staples Hill since we moved here, and there's 2 more going in,
Yeah.
right? And those are all nice houses that have gone up. I mean, starting with the teachers, the teachers.
Is that the one that's way out?
No,
On the left?
we got Emily, we got Paul, we've got
Terrific. Huckins.
Huckins
Oh,
It's like,
that's
and Ella on that side of the road. You've
Yeah.
got
Better Homes and Gardens right there.
Wainwright's on the other side, so that's, you've got those 5, plus the 2 new ones that are going in, that's 7, plus they added, Sika's added a house, that's 8. The,
Robin Wade.
oh, yeah.
the, truck driver. God. Oh my God, Glance. That
Oh,
was,
Shane.
that house didn't exist, so those are like 7 or 8 houses that have all
Yep.
gone in since we've
Oh,
lived
yeah.
here, we moved here.
And I kind of count Proventures, even though it comes off of Turner Street, it kind of, I count it. kind
Yeah,
of.
so anyway. So there's certainly, the population is growing, and I mean, even before COVID, we started to see an influx of people coming in. We've been, for many years, we've been considered a bedroom community for Lewiston, Auburn, Farmington, Augusta, South Paris, even Portland. So, we had a lot of people who moved in back in the early 2000s who said just the taxes in Lewiston, Auburn were so high that this was just so much more affordable for them at the time to move here. So because we're a bedroom community, we don't have our own manufacturing, we don't have a lot of our own employment. Everybody commutes, but that makes it attractive for, as those surrounding communities grow, the demand for housing grows as well. So there certainly are things we could do to promote affordable housing in the right, and as people have said before, in the right locations. There is, I'm gonna connect this to public service. Because we still need water sewer subscribers. And we have public services, it's another section. Do we want zoning? That's a question. We don't have it currently, do we want it? It's been rejected in the past, but who knows? I'm gonna go back to some people for a second. We still have a strong senior population, even without counting the villa or the Pinnacle. Which has its own set of needs, right? So you're demand for that. We actually have a growing set of younger families as well. Which brings with it, school implications.
School what?
School implications, right? If we have a lot of families coming with school age kids.
Yep.
That we pay our school taxes based on the number of people enrolled as a
Mm.
percentage of the total.
Yeah, so the potential
Um,
for not.
Yep. I mean, does our schools have enough capacity for a growing population in the area? So these are all things to think about. I mean, so if we think about well, other people population. So,
Other people,
well, I mean, if you think about, we are back to 1,300 people, I believe. Which, yeah, we might be a little bit over 1,300 the last time I looked. I'm just gonna say approximately. It might even be higher now. People said, what if we grow to 2,000? Because we've grown 400 people in the last so many years, not that many. I mean, the buyout took us from like 1,200 down to like 900, and then back up to like 1,300.
so we're over.
So that's added 400 people. So what if we go to like 1,750? What do you do? What's that implication on the
Well,
town?
there's not a lot of, resources as far as, you have one gas station,
Mhm.
you have. Basically, we have two gas stations.
Yeah. Drugstore and Apple.
Oh, yeah, the drugstore. I forget about
Super
the drugstore.
expensive.
I forget about. I
What?
worked there for
Super
4 years, but I don't
expensive.
ever go there now.
Oh.
I never buy gas in town unless I absolutely am desperate, because
It's expensive.
they are.
Actually, the garage store's one's cheapest around.
Canton garage right now, yeah.
Yep. I saw.
Yeah.
How much is it there?
It was 289 the last time I filled
Yeah.
up.
See, I have BJ's card, I just always get.
Yeah.
I won't wait in line.
Yeah.
It's very fast moving.
Fast, yeah.
So I did, well, not to get off topic, maybe 8 months ago, I was down there. Well, I didn't realize that they redid the way that you go into the
Yeah.
gas line.
Oh, you
I
cut the
cut
line?
everybody off. And I'm like, why are you coming out? Why are you driving out the entrance? I just drove around and,
So
Yeah,
that
I
might
look-
be out
I'm
the
like-
other street.
oh,
Oops,
oops.
big sign, so sorry.
It happens. That's what
Yeah.
crap happens.
You probably was first and won't be the last.
From, I don't know. To promote more stuff to come into town. Like, there's nowhere to eat here, I mean, unless you wanna get pizzas or Italians or
Right.
stuff,
Wish somebody would buy the caboose and make it a little
Yes.
pub.
yeah. That would be, yeah, that would be really nice.
I said that to someone yesterday, like, oh, sounds like you got a job for yourself. It's like, no.
A nice little restaurant, home cooked, like good food.
Well, right there, you've got the trail going by, summer, winter.
Right.
I know.
It's, you could even rent, kayaks in the summer and different things like that, and,
Is,
was younger.
are there any stipulations if someone wanted to go out in the middle of Canton Lake? With like a pontoon boat and south stuff?
That's an interesting
Is there that much traffic on the lake?
Probably not, but like hot day and like in the swimming area.
I don't think so. Shoreline zoning has some things.
Yeah.
There, the shoreline zoning ordinance has a few things about. Mostly it's about things on the shore, because it
Right.
is shoreline. I know I talked to a guy who told me his first summer job was in one of the harbors along the coast here, and he would every morning take his little tiny motorboat. He would bring coffee, donuts, and the newspapers out to everybody who's sleeping on their boats out in the harbor. He made quite a killing
Oh,
doing
I
that.
bet. Yep.
But
I bet you would make money.
well, I know the year we had ice fishing derby and stuff in the lake.
Yeah.
My Girl Scouts took a giant thing full of hot cocoa and coffee on a sled, and they went around and sold it to everybody on the lake. They were very industrial girls, those girls. That's a good thing. People wanted high
Right.
proof, high test.
Right.
Can you give us high test coffee? I'm like, sorry, it's the Girl Scouts, can't do that.
Oh.
Yeah, you go out there with a pontoon boat, we'll swim up bar.
Oh.
Well,
I mean, nobody else is in the middle of the lake, so I mean, yeah.
and
I don't think there'd be any restriction against it.
no, Don Campbell does that concert down in Casco Bay, and that, he said it was 300 and some votes out there listening to him. I
Right,
raised over $100,000, but it was like, oh,
yeah.
Well, I know we've talked about, at one point even getting, like an actual bank kiosk,
Yeah,
Getting the what?
like some place you could like make a deposit, because you can't. To me, to make a deposit, you have to go either to Rumford,
Oh, yes,
Jay.
that's true, yeah, no, it's true.
Auburn, it's not easy. I mean, you can now do it over your phone, so that kind of negates some of the reason.
That would be only if you wanted to like deposit cash or something.
well, and also ATM service, I mean, because half the time the big app one isn't working.
you didn't have to have cash.
Yeah, I mean, these are things people have asked for before. What about a small pharmacy? What about bank kiosk? Yeah, and the list of, I think, support services for town residents. Let's let them brainstorm in the brainstorming session, but it's a good start. A good start.
You'll even check.
Headphones? No, I don't have them with me.
We're not gonna be too much longer. I mean, public services, I think we also had we were already pretty positive about. Fire. But the question was if. How to support as we grow, right? So if if the town's growing, how do we support things like our volunteer fire services? Because
Yeah, and.
they're stretched pretty thin now,
Mhm.
and if we're gonna grow, how does that support? We also had the whole question of municipal, water and sewer.
Police.
Were there.
Police coverage.
We don't have,
We got off the county, but they,
Or you.
yeah,
has
Put a
it,
hydro dam in right where the old fire station used to be.
Yeah. For wind turbine in the lake, they put them offshore.
Very true. The guy that used to own that dam, that's why he held on to it, because he thought he was gonna put hydropower in there.
Speaking of renewable energy,
Mhm.
do you remember if you wanted to do a small solar array on your own building, do you need a permit?
Yeah, but there's very little regulation other than making sure that you meet the setbacks on the edge of your roof for the fire safety stuff.
Okay. So who enforces that if one has been installed?
But since the time the ordinance has been put in place,
Yes. I noticed that
Aaron's
the
been
other,
dealing with the,
Code
with the applications.
yeah.
we say somebody put one in without an application. So
I just noticed that the other day,
I'm not kidding.
Cause
which way am I?
is it,
you can get them for an
No, this way.
after the fact permit fee.
The White House.
the black house?
Yes, they have a bunch of them on there.
Yeah,
That's relatively new.
Yeah,
to make sure
brand
it's a reputable electrician, because,
you don't think he went through a company?
I'm not sure.
yeah,
Does a company have to get a permit to do that?
yeah, they've been,
yes.
the companies have been the one that reached out to the town office most of the time.
Because one day I was in there, somebody from Augusta, something called down, and one of the companies that was going to be installing in town, they were not licensed electricians that were gonna be hooking them up.
Hmm.
So that's.
If you're dumb enough to sign up for that, then that's
Yeah.
on you.
I don't-
So you could approach the town office and kind of file a concern with the code enforcement officer, and they will have to look into it.
And who's our active?
Aaron.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
I didn't realize we had that.
I think we should have a water park too.
That would be nice.
Water park?
I love water parks. So I love water parks.
Yep.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
We're actually probably going Labor Day weekend.
Where's it?
No, not you.
No,
You're saying, oh, He's gonna take us instead.
That's right, you're gonna come on my lawn.
I say no, we need Chase working on farm.
No, we'll get, Maine's Best Deals, we'll do half price aquabogging tickets,
Hmm.
so we'll buy like 8, so then we can go twice.
Mm.
So,
That's cool. Just, I mean, I don't know how many children there are in town now, I have no idea.
When I did my Eastmaster stuff, we had 119 school age. So that's K through, yeah, that's K through 12.
Is there something like to try to get more things for the kids?
Mhm.
I don't know what you would call that exactly, but
I,
hey Chase, what would you like to see the town have for activities for kids?
movies.
Like,
what does he say?
what do you mean?
Did you
Like,
have fun at the movie at the ball
No, he went
field?
homestead.
Oh,
we had fun until that point.
Yeah.
when we had two
What
weeks
happened?
ago movie.
The movie in the ball field,
Yeah. but
he
what-
got sick like
Oh, I'm so
10 minutes after
sorry.
the movie started.
Oh, no. I love those movies, but I was committed to driving a group of people to the Sea Dogs game.
Anything. Like, what would you be like, oh, let's go do this because the town's doing it?
Basketball courts, tennis courts,
Yeah.
games, yeah, whatever. I would like to see an outdoor exercise.
Is there-
Dog park.
is there a big one that I
They
know
have
is
up in
like a
Dixville, or they
stuff
did
like
have,
that?
they
Is
still
there-
like.
is there a big part I really don't- I mean, a lot of towns have that.
Yeah, they're
But do they
probably,
say where's?
I
With
don't
what?
think
For the dog parks?
skate parks.
You know,
Okay.
like, you know,
Well, there's Rumford has one, Dixfield has one at the schools,
Mhm.
so.
oh, they're at the schools?
Well, I say it is, one of them is at where the old school was that they tore down by the high school in Dixfield.
It's behind the Harbor Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mean where the
No,
No,
Dixville Elementary was.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's one there, and then there's one at the very end of, the field of Mexico.
Osmer.
Osmer Field.
mm. So it probably, so people just go there instead. But I'm just thinking of things for the kids to do.
Right?
Yep.
Sidewalks. Everywhere, that's what we need,
Yep. I put that in there.
although you're not allowed to ride your bike on the sidewalk. But,
I put back into public services.
Sweet, nice.
I just remember as a kid, we used to see kids out all the time, and you just don't do that thing. They just don't.
You got too much inside
Yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah, they just, we were never. Ever.
perfect example
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
That
He could be outside playing, but no, he's on an iPad.
Ah, there's nowhere to play. That's a great,
Yeah.
that's the cry right there. There is
well,
no,
if you did maybe
Where to
we do a
play.
school list. I don't know if that's still a possibility of coming down.
Oh, it's gonna come down one way or.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
maybe that. We could do
Yeah.
something where we could do, like, I don't know,
The-
basketball courts or racquetball courts, or,
Right.
you know, or something where they can just hit the ball against the wall.
What stinks, like, well, I grew up in Lewiston on the outskirts, but I grew up in a neighborhood where I didn't have to worry about cars and traffic, and we could ride our bikes up and down the road, and
Mhm.
wasn't a problem, and we were always outside playing. We're off, well, you know where I am.
Yep.
Like, if he wants, no, if he wants to go anywhere, we have to bring him to go do it.
Yeah,
So it would be nice if there was a way that they could do things throughout the town where they could make it there and back without
safety,
needing to worry about
yeah.
108 and things like that.
Drive right now, what?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I've done a couple of bike loops where I'll go down, Jewett, think about
Yep.
Campbell, and then ride
Mhm.
back on 108. When I ride back on 108, you're supposed to ride with traffic.
You ride against it.
I'll ride against,
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah.
always, that's what I was taught as a kid.
Yep.
Which is wrong now, but I'll ride against traffic so I can see if something.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I've done. Yeah, you're
Well, I'll tell
right.
you, the number of times just going to work in the morning when I'm subbing, that I had to basically put the right-hand side in the dirt because people are passing.
Yeah.
Coming in. It's like,
People are nuts.
it's the
I mean,
better way of what I'm saying,
I-
yes, so.
Like, will not pass here. I mean, I lived in San Diego on 12-lane freeways and passed all the time, and
Yeah.
very comfortable. I am not comfortable here doing it at all. And they'll come, sometimes people will pass you and you'll cut you off, almost cut you
Oh,
off.
yeah.
And they're in a hurry, or a lot of pass illegally.
Right, well,
I said, since I've been back here, I've passed twice,
Yeah.
2 times I have passed. And it's like, you know what, I'm not in that big a hurry anymore. I don't need to be
Like, ones that think they're gonna fit in my trunk, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
we're coming home to taking the left on the Fair and Hill Road.
Oh,
Yeah.
no
I don't know
way.
how many times I need to make sure that the car that's 6 cars back
Yeah,
isn't pulling out to pass.
Yeah,
Oh.
Because it's a nice long straightaway and they're like, oh, that guy's
Yeah,
going
you know
slow.
what, as soon as you get over that little knoll, just
Yeah.
before our house. I mean, you hear 'em open it up,
Oh, yeah.
they just open it
so
up,
I had somebody yesterday pass.
So can you think of,
first,
um,
and I'm like,
I don't know.
go for it.
it's fun being on tractors now, on the road.
Oh,
So this is probably a good start. What I've started doing, and I'll finish this week, is putting together all the chapters that we've got so far. And then we can start on these sections, and then perhaps at our next meeting, we can look at a calendar and say, hey, this would be a good time to schedule a public brainstorming on these action ideas.
mhm.
Because that's really the next step before we take it to the select
Okay.
board. But that could be in September, like September or something. Oh, fiscal responsibility.
I'll tell you.
That's the other thing we haven't even talked about.
I'll see if.
There was a lot of concern, especially from some, not just the older citizens, but people who've been around a while, who say, you know, the cost of everything is going up. Electricity, maintenance of our buildings, all that kind of stuff. What are we doing to really plan ahead and try to manage rising costs of operating the town is one, and then overall, what can we do? And what other, I mean, fiscal responsibility, we also have, I mean, the select board, I believe, is doing an excellent job, but there's, but it's like visibility of like our reserve accounts, you know.
Oh,
One of the things that I saw in another town that I really liked was they had a dashboard on their website. I'm not sure who updated it, but it was like once a month, it was updated, and it basically showed, here was our inflow last month, here's our outflow, here's how we're at versus budget, and here's our reserve account balances. Like, it was all visible to everybody all the time.
Can I just say, it's not that we're not being visible, we don't know them yet.
I know, but that's, I know.
Give it another month or two,
Yeah.
and it'll be.
Right, I know. Nobody's criticizing, I'm just saying it's.
Yeah, no, but it's not a good look, and when you're asked, you have to say, I can give you that answer. It's
Right.
not a good look.
Right.
and it's what, the audit, something's not done yet, audit or whatever.
And the money hasn't been transferred, what should have been transferred, yeah, it's just a mess.
Oh,
Yeah.
um. hmm,
So these are just ideas. And I think one of the things that the past group that was working on this came back to talk about was, in the past, the comp plan basically got passed, got put in a notebook, sat on the shelf, and nobody touched it for 10 years or 20 years.
Yeah, I think it was
And-
25, I just looked at it, 2003 or something.
4, 7, somewhere in there, 2004, I think.
2004.
Agree, but the idea is to make it dynamic so that it is an integral part of planning and what people do, and started to put some actions against them, kind of thing. So that's part of why I think the committee that started on this years ago changed the format of the comp plan so that it wasn't quite as onerous, it wasn't quite as much text, and they wanted to have it more idea, right? To-
Very dry.
It is, but not every other town was, so how do we
Do that.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe,
Is the door. Oh, that's because there was some short people do that.
I think we also talked about, there are case studies for towns that are doing it, that are being very innovative in how they're approaching things. And so rather than say, we can't do it, let's look at some case studies for how other towns are doing it and provide some examples. So,
On their comprehensive plan.
Well, how are they managing like financial responsibilities? How are they figuring out how to manage their costs? You
We are
know,
supposed to be meeting with Dixfield at some point here. And with their select board and talking about bulk purchasing for various things.
mhm.
And when we finally know what our actual numbers are, we're gonna be looking into CDs. So.
So. There's no zoning in this town. No,
Right.
at all.
No,
And my understanding is for the most people bought it early on, and before we got here. You brought up the word and people just basically slapped it down. They did not want to have anything to do with it. That could have changed.
Well, I mean, I can kind of understand that everywhere I live has zoning, but you know, here, I mean.
Well, we had,
It's good, it's good, and it could be bad, I mean, it's got pros and cons. Huh?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's got pros and cons.
well, and organic growth is like, okay, if people are thoughtful about how to do it.
Yeah.
I know that the talk, well, as we talked, when we talked at the cluster housing ordinance, right, was that what you don't want is the whole town to be broken up into like random
No,
small
yeah,
lots all over the
exactly.
place, because now you don't have any efficiency on municipal services. There's a
Right.
bunch of reasons why you don't want to do that, but
Well, in. I know like in majors, I mean, where my kids went to school and stuff is, if a development came in to build housing, they also had to build a school. It was part of the subdivision plan. Because if, you know, everything was growing so fast, but they had to make, they had to build a school.
why I had the bigger picture in mind.
Yeah, they had the bigger, yeah, so it was part of their overall housing plan that a school would go be put in.
Right.
To cover, you know, that development and stuff of,
Right.
but that's
Well,
big growth.
Well, that
Yeah.
was the cluster housing thing we looked at too, that you've made some revisions to is, you know, talking about if you're gonna put some more housing in a closer proximity to each other so that you get better water sewer resources kind of thing. How much open space do you need to have to offset that? And what do you do with that open space, right? Do you make it a pavilion where people could like meet and barbecue outside together? Do you make it a whatever? I mean, so there's lots of,
Yeah.
so that's part of the conversation.
Mhm.
I guess, how do you do that?
Yeah,
if we did that, is our sewer and water infrastructure capable of taking on that much more?
oh,
I
yeah,
believe so.
Is
I
it?
believe we are significantly underutilized,
Okay,
like 50%.
oh, wow.
I'm not sure what percentages,
It's pretty high.
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the
the
other,
hookup is cheap.
Compared to a lot of places, yeah, compared to a lot of places.
where's public
Too cheap on
services, there we go.
something.
I mean, what is the rate for this water?
I don't know what water is.
Oh.
That's a whole separate entity.
That's not a town.
I got my property tax bill for the acreage that we have in Emden, that's in Tree Grove.
Yep,
So it's two parcels. One of them is 1.5 acres, the other one is 40.5. And it was less than $60 for both pieces of land.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause it's in Tree Grove.
yeah. Well, and this is why I probably get 4 calls a year from out-of-state developers who are like, they just look at maps and they see where there's a chunk of land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because we're close relative, that chunk we have is kind of relatively close to town, they're like, hey, we'd like to buy your land, like a piece of it for $5,000. I'm like, no.
No.
When you have a real serious offer, call me, but probably not. Not
Yeah, I
interested.
get the ones that want the land or they want the woodland.
But they want what?
Yeah, woodlands.
Oh.
So, not having either.
Well, this guy's called a couple times. I called him back last week because I'm already doing some other work on that land. We're getting some trees logged off now, kind of stuff. And he's like, oh, I didn't look at this close. Like, that's kind of marshy down near the front. I'm like, this year it's not. We're bone dry.
Yeah.
We're bone dry all the way. It's just why it's getting logged off. So
Yeah.
it's getting logged right now.
So that's scary.
But
Yeah, that's true. It's not.
Then it's like, oh, yeah, look, and it slopes at the back too. Like, yeah, it does. Like, you didn't even look, you just randomly start calling people,
Right.
making offers. So, anyway. All right, that's a good start. So, let me get you those 3 ordinances for like final double check, and the organized kind of inventory of this. And so at our next meeting, let's take a look at the comp plan in more detail and see if we can schedule a public brainstorming on the next steps.
Okay.
All right,
All right, I motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All those in favor? All right.
so August.
I think
August 23rd.
it's not.
So you're talking about water parks, so at Aquaboggan, there's one slide that I have figured out that when I go down it, I can do like Mach 10 coming down this thing. Well, the best part is that kids get stuck halfway down and you can see them, so they let them get out, so then there's always like a line of people watching like